Welcome to Rare Coins Numics, where history and treasure come together in the smallest pieces of metal. Today, we're uncovering some of the most sought-after state quarters, coins that have captured the hearts of collectors and tell powerful stories of America's past. These quarters aren't just pocket change, they're prized gems that could surprise you with their incredible value. You're holding a sleek, gleaming quarter, its edge crisp, the silver-toned metal catching the light just so, and you're about to uncover the hidden story behind the 2000 Massachusetts state quarter. At first glance, it may seem like any other coin in your change jar. But behind its modest face lies a story layered in American history, a tale of rebellion, craftsmanship, accident, and incredible value. This coin is more than just 25 cents. It's a silent tribute to the legacy of a state that helped shape the United States, a token of identity, and, for one astonishing example, a symbol of extreme rarity in the coin-collecting world. Our story begins in 1997, when the U.S. Mint launches one of its most ambitious projects ever, the 50-State Quarters program. It was created not only to educate the public about each state's heritage, but also to spark a renewed interest in coin collecting across America. Each year, 5 new quarters would be released, each representing a state in the order it joined the Union. Designs would be drawn from local pride, shaped by public input, and brought to life by the Mint's artists. By the year 2000, Massachusetts becomes one of the early states to join this numismatic revolution. Given its pivotal role in American independence, there was no shortage of symbols to choose from. But the one that stood out, the one that truly embodied the spirit of the Commonwealth, was the Minuteman. The central figure on the coin is not a politician or president, but a humble militia member, musket in hand, ready to defend his land at a moment's notice. He stands firmly within the outline of the state, a lone sentinel who represents the bravery and resilience of ordinary citizens during the Revolutionary War. This image is based on the famous statue by Daniel Chester French, erected in Concord to honor those who fought at the Battle of Lexington and Concord, where the first shots of the Revolution were fired. The design includes the words, "The Bay State," a nickname rooted in Massachusetts' deep connection to the Atlantic and its maritime heritage. A small star marks its position as the 6th state to ratify the Constitution. It's a clean, elegant design, but one rich in meaning. Once the design is finalized, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia and Denver begins mass production. Together, they strike over 1.1 billion Massachusetts quarters. These clad coins, composed of copper and nickel, are the ones you've likely handled dozens of times without giving them a second thought. They were made for commerce, pocket change, vending machines, bus fares. But hidden among them, quietly and without fanfare, a few very different quarters were struck. The San Francisco Mint, a special run of Massachusetts quarters, is created for proof sets. Proof coins are intended for collectors and are produced using a specialized process. Dies are polished to a mirror-like finish, and coins are struck multiple times to bring out fine details. These coins aren't meant for circulation, they're for display, appreciation, and preservation. Now, here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. During the production of these Massachusetts proof quarters, a mistake is made. Somehow, a small number of coins are struck not on the standard copper-nickel planchets used for proofs, but on 90% silver planchets. These silver blanks are normally reserved for limited edition silver proof sets and should never have been used for regular state quarter proofs, yet, through human error or mechanical mix-up, they were. To the naked eye, the difference might not be immediately obvious. The coin still gleams. The strike is still sharp. But collectors who handle and weigh coins routinely start to notice a few quarters that feel different. They're heavier. A bit brighter. The tone is cooler, crisper, classic silver. When weighed on a precision scale, they come in at 6.25 grams instead of the standard 5.67. That's the first clue. What follows is a careful process of testing and verification. Grading services like PCGS and NGC are brought in to evaluate the anomalies. Spectrometry confirms the metallic composition, 90% silver, 10% copper. These coins are declared authentic mint errors. Not only that, but they are beautifully struck, with pristine surfaces and rich contrasts between the mirrored fields and frosted devices. In the world of coin collecting, this is the stuff of dreams. This is when the market begins to react. At first, silver Massachusetts quarters sell for hundreds of dollars. As their rarity becomes better known, prices climb into the thousands. And eventually, one perfect specimen makes its way to auction, encased in a clear slab, graded PR70 deep cameo, essentially flawless. The strike is bold. The fields, mirror smooth. The details in the Minuteman's coat and musket are razor sharp. Bidding begins. Slowly at first. Then it picks up. Thousands. Tens of thousands. Collectors know what's at stake, a nearly perfect proof, struck in silver, from one of the most historically rich states in the country. This isn't just a coin, it's a mistake-turned masterpiece. The final bid stuns everyone. The 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter, struck in error on a silver planchet, sells for an astonishing $56,000. It is, without question, one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in the entire State Quarter series. A simple design. A timeless figure. A small mistake. And the result? A staggering fortune for the lucky collector who discovered it. Next up is a coin that captures the wild heart of the American West, the 2006 Nevada State Quarter. It may look like just another quarter, just another piece of pocket change, but this coin carries with it a story of heritage, landscape, and a rare twist of fate that turned one version of it into an incredibly valuable collector's treasure. Right away, the design pulls you in. 3 wild Mustangs charge across a sunlit Nevada plain. They're in mid-stride, muscles defined, manes flowing in the desert wind. They're not just animals, they're freedom in motion. Unbroken. Untamed. Majestic symbols of a state that has always done things its own way. These horses are rooted in Nevada's identity, running wild and free across open land since before the state was even founded. Behind them, the early sun breaks over jagged mountains, casting long, golden rays. The desert floor is dotted with sagebrush, hardy and stubborn, surviving in harsh soil. That plant wasn't chosen by accident, it's the official state flower. Simple, rugged, and enduring, just like the land it grows from. Altogether, the scene feels like something out of a painting, quiet but powerful, frozen in time on the face of a coin, and around it, the words tell you more. Nevada, 1864, the year the state joined the Union during the Civil War, a moment that showed the nation's belief in growth, even in the middle of chaos. Below, the words, the Silver State. A nickname earned from rich silver veins that once drew prospectors from across the country in search of fortune. Nevada's history is layered in grit, opportunity, and independence, and this coin captures that perfectly. The coin was released in 2006 as the 36th installment of the 50 State Quarters program, a series that brought history, geography, and identity into everyday hands. Over 500 million Nevada quarters were minted. Most were made for circulation, meant to be spent, dropped in vending machines, or tossed in jars on nightstands. You might have even used one without realizing it. That's the beauty of this series, powerful stories hidden in plain sight. But not all Nevada quarters were created equal. At the San Francisco Mint, a smaller number of quarters were produced specifically for collectors. These are called proof coins, struck using a special process with polished dies, resulting in mirror-like surfaces and incredibly sharp details. They're not made to be spent. They're made to be admired. To be preserved. To be treasured. These proof coins are packaged and sold in sets, sealed away from circulation. But sometimes, something unusual happens. That's where our story takes an unexpected turn. Among the thousands of flawless proof coins created, one stood out, but not for what you'd see on the surface. At first glance, it looked like any other Nevada proof. The same horses. The same sun. The same glint of silver tones. But when a sharp-eyed collector weighed it, something didn't add up. It was heavier than it should have been. And when it was tapped lightly, it gave off a different ring, a higher, purer sound. What they had discovered was no ordinary proof. It had been struck, accidentally, on a silver planchet. A blank intended for a different coin, one made of 90% silver instead of the usual copper-nickel clad. How it ended up in the proof run is a mystery. But what's certain is that it happened. And that mistake created one of the rarest and most valuable state quarters ever produced. The silver composition changes everything. It gives the coin a richer weight, a brighter, colder shine. And when combined with the ultra-detailed proof strike, it becomes something extraordinary. Every detail pops: the texture of the horse's manes, the folds in the landscape, the clarity in the rays of the sun. The contrast between the deeply mirrored background and the frosted design elements is flawless. Collectors took notice. Word spread in forums, at shows, and across the numismatic community. Experts examined the coin. It was submitted for professional grading and came back with the highest marks: perfect surfaces, perfect contrast, perfect strike. And above all, verified silver. The coin was no longer just a commemorative. It was an anomaly. A marvel. A moment when technology, history, and accident aligned to produce something incredibly rare. Something you can't just buy at face value. Something that becomes the centerpiece of a serious collection. Its story, like the Mustangs it depicts, refused to be tamed. It traveled from one collector to another, each recognizing its uniqueness. It wasn't just valuable because it was silver, it was valuable because it wasn't supposed to exist. And it was perfect. That rarity, that quality, that accident of composition, all came together to elevate its worth beyond anyone's expectations. Today, that coin, the silver-struck proof version of the 2006 Nevada State Quarter, holds an astonishing value. Its current value is $46,000. From a wild herd frozen in silver to a misstep in the mint that turned into perfection, this coin is a reminder that even in the most structured systems, magic can still happen. A moment, a mistake, a masterpiece. Let's move on to the next coin. The 2008 Arizona State Quarter is more than just a 25-cent piece. It's a miniature monument to one of the most rugged and awe-inspiring landscapes in the United States. A coin that doesn't just represent a state, it tells its story, preserves its identity, and, in one extraordinarily rare version, holds a value that turns heads and stirs the hearts of collectors everywhere. When you first flip the coin and glance at the reverse, it's impossible not to pause. There it is, the Grand Canyon, carved out over millions of years, layered with sediment and time, a living geological record of Earth's history. Even in miniature, its depth is striking. The cliffs fall sharply, the walls stretch back into the distance, and the scale, though confined to a coin, still manages to feel massive. It's more than a design. It's a window into wonder, and in front of it, rooted in dry desert soil, rises the saguaro cactus. Towering, timeless, and immediately recognizable. This cactus isn't just a plant, it's an icon. Native only to the Sonoran Desert, it can grow over 40 feet tall and live more than 150 years. It blooms under the desert moon and shelters birds within its arms. Its placement here isn't artistic coincidence, it's cultural. Spiritual. A symbol of life persisting in heat, dust, and silence. Around this image are words that ground it in meaning. Arizona. The name of the land scorched by sun and soaked in color. 1912, the year it became the 48th state of the Union, marking the end of an era and the completion of the continental United States. And on a graceful ribbon, Grand Canyon State, a nickname worn with pride and known around the world. Then, below it all, the year this coin was minted and released, 2008. This coin marked one of the final entries in the legendary 50-state quarters program, which had begun nearly a decade earlier. Arizona's design was chosen through public submissions, carefully narrowed down, debated, refined, and finally approved. In the end, what emerged wasn't just a scene, it was a story. One that could fit in the palm of your hand but stretched across millions of years of history and culture. When production began, the mints in Philadelphia and Denver got to work. Together, they struck more than 500 million Arizona quarters for circulation. These were the coins you'd find in your pocket, in your change, in a coin jar at home. They were made fast and in bulk, destined for vending machines, parking meters, and laundromats. But not all Arizona quarters followed the same path. A small number were created for a different purpose. These were the proof coins, special issues made for collectors. Minted in San Francisco, these coins weren't meant to be spent. They were crafted with care. The dies were polished. The planchets were specially treated. And each coin was struck multiple times to ensure that every detail stood out in perfect contrast. The result? Coins with a deep mirror-like background and frosted design elements, almost three-dimensional in appearance. Most proof coins were made with the same copper-nickel clad composition as their circulation counterparts. But a select group, a very select group, were struck in 90% silver. These silver proofs were reserved for premium collector sets and produced in far smaller numbers. They were heavier, brighter, and far more desirable to serious collectors, and then, among these already rare silver coins, something incredible happened. One coin, just one, surfaced with all the makings of a masterpiece. This wasn't just any silver proof. It was flawless. The mirror finish was deeper than usual, almost like black glass. The frosted images, so clear, so bold, looked sculpted rather than stamped. The canyon glowed with depth, its layers crisp and clean. The cactus stood tall in icy white contrast. Every letter, every ridge, every detail, perfect. This particular coin had never been touched by human hands. It had been preserved straight from the mint, sealed tight, and hidden away until a keen-eyed collector noticed something unusual. The weight was slightly heavier than expected. The shine was colder. The edge finer. When tested and certified, the results were undeniable. It was a full silver strike, minted with absolute precision, graded at the highest level possible, and so, this Arizona quarter, once worth 25 cents, became something else entirely. A miracle of modern minting. A prize few will ever see in person. Unlike older rare coins, which gain value through age and survival, this coin's value lies in its purity, its perfect state, and the sheer unlikelihood of its creation. It wasn't made in the 1800s. It wasn't discovered buried in the dirt or passed through generations. It was born in 2008, but it escaped the ordinary path and became extraordinary. Today, collectors and experts agree, this single silver-proof version of the 2008 Arizona quarter is among the most desirable modern quarters ever struck. It's rare. It's flawless. It's stunning. And yes, it's valuable. Its current value is $43,000. That's the power of a perfect coin. What began as a simple tribute to a southwestern state became a national treasure. A celebration of Arizona's land, history, and spirit, sealed in silver, untouched by time, and forever remembered in the world of rare coins. Let's move on to the next coin, and trust me, it's just as surprising. The 2015 Homestead National Monument Quarter is far more than just a piece of currency. It's a portal to a transformative era in American history, a small coin that carries a monumental story. This quarter honors the spirit of hope, determination, and opportunity that fueled the westward expansion and defined the pioneer legacy for generations. On the coin's reverse, you'll see a striking depiction of the iconic settler's cabin, simple but sturdy, standing proudly amidst open fields. The cabin represents the hard work and resilience of those early settlers who ventured into the unknown, carving out a life from the vast, untamed landscape. Surrounding it, fences stretch across the terrain, marking claimed land, a symbol of ownership earned through toil and perseverance. The craftsmanship of this design captures not only the physical attributes of homesteading but the very essence of the American pioneer spirit. Above, the sky is vast and open, etched into the coin as a reminder of the boundless opportunity the frontier offered. It's a tribute not just to the land but to the dreams of countless families who left everything behind, motivated by the promise of owning a piece of America. This open sky symbolizes freedom, possibility, and the endless horizons that beckon settlers to take a chance and build a new life. The Homestead Act of 1862, signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln amid the Civil War, was nothing short of revolutionary. It gave ordinary Americans the chance to become landowners by claiming 160 acres of public land, if they were willing to live on it, cultivate it, and improve it over 5 years. This bold move transformed the landscape of the nation and created a wave of migration toward the Western territories. It empowered millions and played a critical role in shaping the United States as we know it today. The Homestead National Monument in Nebraska marks the very spot where the first claim was officially filed by Daniel Freeman. This monument is a tribute to the courage and tenacity of all who answered the call to settle the frontier. The cabin preserved there is not just a building, it's a symbol of resilience, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of a better life. Managed by the National Park Service, the monument continues to educate and inspire, reminding visitors of the incredible human stories behind the American expansion. The 2015 Homestead Quarter was part of the America the Beautiful Quarter series, which beautifully showcases the nation's most treasured landscapes and historic sites. Millions of these quarters were minted for everyday use at Philadelphia and Denver, while special proof versions were produced in San Francisco. These coins quietly passed through countless hands, often unappreciated, as everyday currency, but for the keen collector, there's much more beneath the surface. Proof coins, especially those struck in 90% silver, offer a level of detail and craftsmanship that elevates them beyond common circulation pieces. With mirror-like fields and frosted designs, these proofs highlight the intricate artistry of the coin's features, from the weathered cabin logs to the fence posts and rolling fields. Among these silver proofs, a truly exceptional few stand out. These coins, flawless in condition and certified by top grading authorities, have never been touched by circulation or human error. Graded at the highest possible levels, they gleam with a brilliance that seems to capture the very spirit of the pioneer era in metal form. The sharp details and pristine surfaces make them highly sought after by numismatists and history enthusiasts alike. This rare 2015 Homestead silver proof is not just a coin, it's a piece of living history, perfectly preserved. It connects us to a time when hard work, perseverance, and hope forged new paths across the continent. The value of such a coin goes far beyond its silver content. It's about the story it tells, the moment in history it commemorates, and the rarity it represents in today's collecting world. Collectors treasure this coin not only for its artistic beauty but for its embodiment of the American spirit, the drive to build, to claim, and to thrive against the odds. It is a reminder that every grand nation is built on countless small acts of courage and determination. Today, this extraordinary 2015 Homestead National Monument Quarter holds an impressive value. Its current value is $27,000. From the modest cabin etched in metal to one of the most prized quarters in modern numismatics, this coin captures the heart of American heritage. It's a testament to the enduring power of hope and the remarkable stories woven into our nation's fabric. As we wrap up this journey through some of the rarest and most fascinating state quarters, I hope these stories have sparked your curiosity and deepened your appreciation for the coins we often overlook. Each one is a treasure trove of history, art, and culture, waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed diving into these incredible coins and want to learn more about rare finds and numismatic gems, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring you more exciting content and fascinating stories from the world of coins. Thank you so much for watching. Keep your eyes open and your curiosity alive. You never know when the next extraordinary coin might cross your path. Until next time, take care and happy collecting.